Hey, I'm Amanda from Selfmade and we are back with another sew along, and this time we will be stitching the Lise Bow Blouse. We've made it in several variations already because it's so much fun to stitch. So follow along these easy steps. So the first thing I always do is to check that the measurement box is 10 times 10 centimeters. Once that is done, I find the layout plan on page number 2 and place the papers accordingly. Then I tape the pattern pieces together and start to cut them out. You find an overview of which line to follow for the different sizes. Once I have all my pattern pieces cut out, I again go to the overview and find out how many of each I need. Every pattern piece is marked with a grain line and also the amount of times you have to cut each panel. Then I cut it out, and as with every self-made pattern, there is always seam allowance included. Also, don't forget to cut little notches. Make sure that these are no longer than 5 millimeters. This one is on fold, so I place the pattern piece on fold of the fabric. Then I find the measurements of the ruffles and cut panel pieces for that as well. Also for the straps and the back panel. Then stitch the shoulder seams with 1 centimeter seam allowance. Start and end with a back tack. Then finish the seam with either an overlock or a zigzag and press the seam towards the back panel. Then overlock the bottom of the sleeves, match the notches, then use pins or clamps to keep the sleeve in place while you stitch it. And again stitch it with 1 centimeter seam allowance and finish it off with an overlock or a zigzag. Then press the seam towards the body. Then pin the side seams and sleeve seams together and stitch them in one go, again with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Then press the seam towards the back panel. Then press the hem of the sleeve 2 centimeters up towards the wrong side of the fabric with a press. Then stitch it all the way around. Stitch the ruffles together so that you have the 2 smaller pieces in each side and the 1 long ruffle for the back in the middle. Again, finish them off with an overlock or a zigzag and press the seam towards the back ruffle. Set your stitch length to the very maximum and pull upper and lower thread out so that you have something to hold in the end. And then run a stitch, a presser foot width all the way across the ruffle. Then you start pulling to make the ruffle match the width of the panels. Again, try to match the seams, side seams on the upper panel with the side seam on the ruffle, and then stitch them together, right sides facing. Adjust your stitch length again to the regular stitch and attach it with 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way across the blouse. Finish it off with an overlock or a zigzag and press the seam towards the top of the blouse. Fold the tie strings halfway on the long side and give them a press. Then open it again and fold the 2 sides towards the center. And give it another press. Then press it again in the initial crease line. Fold the end upward and again fold it over so that you have a nice finishing at the end. So they are basically sandwiched in between the layers. Then top stitch it all the way along the edge and also at the end. Now we're gonna hem the blouse, so 1 centimeter at the top around the neck. So I go ahead and press it all in. 1 centimeter. Then I stitch it with a 7 millimeter seam allowance. Then I hem the bottom of the blouse, first 1 centimeter up and then press it all the way along. And then I fold it another centimeter and press it again. Then we're gonna stitch it in place. At the center front, we fold it over 1 centimeter, give it a press. And then press another centimeter around. And then we're gonna place the tie strings. I place 1 at the very top, and then 1 at the center where the ruffle goes on, and then 1 just in between those 2 tie strings. So here we are doing the exact same thing on the other side of the panel. And now all that's left is just to make a stitch line running across it all. Now all that's left is just to tie the ribbons in cute little bows. So this is the final result. I hope you enjoyed the ride and see you next time.